Hi, friends. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but if you catch the live stream in the middle, you can always find it on YouTube on our YouTube channel under videos, like normal videos, the way you would not watch any other video. So here we go. Our first poem today is called From a Railway Carriage. It's by Robert Louis Stevenson, who was a Scottish poet. And if you've ever been on a train, you might recognize the rhythm of this poem while I'm reading it. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle, all of the sights of the hill and the plain, fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. Here is a child who clambers and scrambles all by himself and gathering brambles. Here is a tramp who stands and gazes, and here is the green for stringing the daisies. Here is a cart run away in the road, lumping along with man and load. And here is a mill, and there is a river, each a glimpse and gone forever. That is a beautiful example of rhythm, meter in a poem evoking the subject. I am not here to be your English teacher, but I thought that was really fun for today, especially with our beautiful surf coaster. I forget what they call our Amtrak route that goes up the coast, but it's beautiful and you can hear the clacking of the wheels. I love it. Okay, here is another classic. It's called Casey at the Bat. You may have heard it. If you have not seen the cartoon version after you watch this video, I encourage you to go and look up Casey at the Bat cartoon because it's pretty good. It's a Bugs Bunny joint. Okay, here we go. Casey at the Bat by Ernest Lawrence Thayer. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning more to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could but get a whack at that, we'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake, and the former was a hoodoo while the latter was a cake. So upon that stricken multitude grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to the bat. But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and they saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second and Flynn a hugging third. Then from 5,000 throats and more there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell, it pounded on the mountain and recoiled upon the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing, and a smile lit Casey's face. And when, responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat, no stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. Then while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed in Casey's eye, a sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. From the benches, black with people, there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. Kill him! Kill the umpire! Shouted someone on the stand. And it's likely they'd have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dun sphere flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike two." "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands, and the echo answered, "Fraud!" But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. They saw his face grew stern and cold. They saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lip. His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go, and now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere folks are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. I wrote one of my very first poems as an assignment responding to that one in the 7th or 8th grade. And then my teacher shared it with his freshman class at my high school. So that was fun. What's up, Brian? Maybe I'll share that one if I can find it. I don't know if I still own that poem, but it was about basketball. Okay, this one is for your parents or whatever grown-ups are with you. Those two were for you, my young friends, but this one is for your folks and for you, if you care to listen. It's called Poetry, and it's by Marianne Moore. I, too, dislike it. There are things that are important beyond all this fiddle. Reading it, however, with a perfect contempt for it, one discovers that there is in it, after all, a place for the genuine. Hands that can grasp, eyes that can dilate, hair that can rise if it must. These things are important not because a high-sounding interpretation can be put upon them, but because they are useful. When they become so derivative as to become unintelligible, the same thing may be said for all of us, that we do not admire what we cannot understand. The bat, holding on upside down or in quest of something to eat, elephants pushing, a wild horse taking a roll, a tireless wolf under a tree, the immovable critic twinkling his skin like a horse that feels a flea, the baseball fan, the statistician. Case after case could be cited did one wish it, nor is it valid to discriminate against business documents and school books. All these phenomena are important. One must make a distinction, however, when dragged into prominence by half-poets, the result is not poetry, nor till the autocrats among us can be literalists of the imagination, above insolence and triviality, and can present for inspection imaginary gardens with real toads in them. Shall we have it? In the meantime, if you demand on the one hand, in defiance of their opinion, the raw material of poetry in all its rawness, and that which is, on the other hand, genuine, then you are interested in poetry. I never read that one before today, and I love it. I was talking to my English teacher from my junior year of high school yesterday. He called me. Hi, Frank. I'll send you this link. Man, all about my teachers today. And I was remembering how he was the first person to like really actually make me understand how poetry is beautiful. So I think in the coming weeks, I'll still share my favorite or good poems that I find for my younger friends, but for my older friends, I want to bring in some of the poems that made me love poetry. I just think it's a lovely way to start the week by reading beautiful words. So I will see you tomorrow for YouTube exercise. If it's sunny out, maybe we'll go outside together. And then I'll see you the rest of the week right here, 2 p.m. for our other daily YouTube live activities. I hope you enjoyed those poems, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay home.